Hello everyone, this is CRH Films, and this is the second episode of the second season of the series The Last of Us. Ellie, Joel, and Dina are patrolling the outskirts as a countless horde of infected approaches the town, but the main characters also find themselves in a rather difficult situation.
Bell! Bell! Hit the bell!
The Fireflies have set up a temporary camp in a mountain cabin, which serves as an ideal observation post overlooking Jackson. In the morning, Abby is on watch duty on a rocky ledge, allowing the rest of the team to develop their strategy. The key obstacle is that none of them have any idea what Joel looks like. Meanwhile, Jesse wakes Ellie up as it's time for them to go on patrol. She had intended to go with Joel, but it turned out he had already left with Dina. The situation is becoming increasingly tense as one of the patrol groups has fallen into an ambush. The infected were hiding in the snowdrifts, using their frozen brethren for camouflage and insulation. The patrol had barely left the settlement's gates when a snowstorm descended upon them. Radio signal almost completely vanished, making communication impossible. Jesse leads Ellie to a secret hideout in an abandoned town, an ideal place to wait out the storm. There they can shelter their horses and hide themselves in a makeshift marijuana greenhouse. Frozen to the bone, Abby spots two riders in the distance and realizes she's risking frostbite not only to her harsh temper, but to something else. She begins her descent but loses her balance and tumbles rapidly down the slope, landing right in the middle of a pile of frozen infected. But her problems don't end there. The snow cover suddenly comes to life and zombies that were hiding from the cold burst out from underneath. A whole crowd of infected rushes toward Abby. She manages to reach a fenced-off area and climb over the wall using a ladder. However, the horde easily breaks through the chain-link fence, nearly catching the fugitive. It seemed Abby had already escaped, but at the last moment, an infected jumps on her back. The girl is saved from a certain death by the intervention of a stranger, who turns out to be Joel. When Dina shouts his name, Abby instantly realizes that she is face-to-face with her father's killer. The onslaught of the infected doesn't let up, pushing forward with a force reminiscent of skyrocketing gas prices. Abby suggests they all take refuge in the shelter where her comrades are waiting. The survivors race there on horseback, pursued by the horde. At the same time, Ellie manages to catch a radio signal from Jackson, from which she learns of Joel's disappearance. She and Jesse decide to split up to search his usual route. Suddenly, the horde sharply changes direction, now guided by the mycelium that is spread to Jackson through the water pipes. Tommy gives the command to prepare for a full-scale defense. All women, children, and the elderly are evacuated to the basement, while the remaining residents take up combat positions. The defenders place barrels of flammable liquid on the walls. As soon as the infected get close, the barrels are pushed down. They are shot to spill their contents, which are then ignited, creating a literal wall of fire. Tommy notices that the horde is regrouping to attack another section of the wall, using a Topliak, a horrifying monster, the final stage of infection protected by durable fungal armor. When the monster breaks through the fence, crowds of zombies scatter through the city streets. Snipers on the roofs try to hold them back, but the mutants quickly climb up, forcing the defenders to retreat. Tommy arms himself with the flamethrower. Noticing that the Topliak has targeted his wife, Maria, he immediately draws the monster's attention to himself. He lures the fungal giant into a dead-end alley and uses his weapon, but the flames only slow the armored beast, not doing any significant damage. When he runs out of gasoline, Tommy prepares for death, but at the last moment, the burning monster falls lifeless. Having successfully repelled the attack, the residents of Jackson begin the cleanup, finishing off the remaining infected, including those of their neighbors who had been bitten. From the top of a hill, Joel and Dina see the glow of a fire over the town, but Abby insists they continue to her shelter. There, her group suddenly attacks, taking Dina hostage and forcing Joel to drop his weapon. After giving the girl a sedative injection, the group begins its retribution. Abby makes it clear to Joel that this is revenge for the Fireflies he killed. She first shoots him in the leg with a shotgun and then strikes the bloody wound with the golf club. While Abby tortures her father's killer, Ellie arrives at the house following the horse tracks. The girl sneaks inside, trying to be inconspicuous like a Leslie Nielsen character with a naked gun, but she's discovered. Ellie is grabbed and thrown to the floor, forced to watch as Joel is killed. Abby delivers the final blow, driving a broken piece of the club into his neck. After that, the Fireflies leave, ignoring Ellie's screams promising to find and kill every one of them. The girl crawls to the body of her adopted father, where Jesse finds her. He takes the still sleeping Dina and returns to Jackson, dragging Joel's body wrapped in a burial shroud through the snow. And on that note, the second episode ends.